Greetings, kids, part 3 of the DVD collection, Sean here, Mostly Metal. I had just finished up part 2, and I thought, let's knock out part 3, get these DVDs out of the way. Blu-rays are coming next. So we are going to start here. Still listen to that obsequious in the background. It's great. This is Old Crow Medicine Show, live at the Orange Peel in Tennessee Theater. This is from 2008. Yeah, 2008. Cool Innard. Been a fan of Old Crow really before they got super popular. I was blessed to see them essentially play a bar. I think Wagon Wheel had just come out, but it wasn't as popular as it is now. Mainstream country hadn't leached onto it yet, but this has 20 songs on it. Orange Peel is in Asheville, North Carolina, and the Tennessee Theater is in Knoxville, Tennessee. Actually, not been to either venue. I've been by the Tennessee Theater in Knoxville during COVID time, so it wasn't open. Very cool looking venue in the downtown area. 20 songs, all earlier stuff from their first 2 or 3 albums. I think Wagon Wheel is on here, of course. CC Rider, Humdinger, Hard to Tell. I hear them all. Great song. Good stuff. If you're not familiar with Old Crow and you like country, folkish type music, check them out. Next up, The Anatomy of Melancholy, Paradise Lost. This is quite the package. This is, I think, 2 discs. Yeah, 2 discs. Great documentary-ish, but mainly live. Paradise Lost show. If you're not familiar with Paradise Lost, great gothic doom. I'm sure Liam over there at the Death Doom Metalhead might be one of his favorite bands. But it's a great live performance. The quality on it's top notch. Huge Paradise Lost fan. One of the greatest ever. It has 2 DVDs. Like the first one is one live show. The other DVDs got interviews with fans. It's got a tour documentary, and then they've got some promo stuff. So if you're not a fan of Paradise Lost, this would be a good place to start. Next up, we're going back to the 90s alternative music. This is the Pixies. This is a live show. It's got some videos on it. It also has, I think, some interviews, and then kind of behind the scenes, on the road stuff. The Pixies were one of those bands that weren't huge back when they were, I want to say initially together, and then they reformed at some point. I want to say 2006, 7 maybe. They decided to reunite. When they started playing shows, they were just selling things out left and right. I got to see them when they reunited in Chicago. It was a great show. So if you're not familiar with the Pixies and you like that kind of alternative music, I think they define alternative really. It's a mixture of pop and weird music and acoustic, and they've got the male-female vocals at times. Kim Deal sings. If you don't know, you've probably heard their songs in pop culture, like the song Where's My Mind. You've probably heard. It's been in movies, TV shows, you name it. So check them out. This is another Pixies one. This is just an acoustic one, live in Newport. Nice to hear the song stripped down and played at that kind of raw level, if you will. You kind of hear where the songs, how the songs were originally written, and when you know the newer version or the produced version, it's kind of cool to hear the differences there. This is a DVD. I forgot I had it. It's in such a small package that I forgot about it. This is Shadows Fall, the Threads of Life DVD. This came with Threads of Life, the album, if I remember right, was the name of the album. Not much to show really. Shadows Fall were one of those bands that got really popular around the time bands like Killswitch Engage got popular, and Shadows Fall I think broke up right when they were kind of hitting that peak. I don't know what happened there, but I believe they're it's either Jonathan or Matthew. I can't remember which guitar player plays with Anthrax now as their second guitar player. So I'll link it below. They had a song I really liked, a song or two, I should say, and something about them just didn't really latch on with me. But I did like Threads of Life, obviously. About that, I'll have to give that another listen. Next up, one of my favorite bands, should be one of your favorite bands too. Sympathy for the Devil. Type O Negative, kind of a play on Sympathy for the Devil, Rolling Stones type deal. This is a DVD. I always like the cover of this. Type O Negative dressed as nuns. They were always a creative bunch. This has pretty much anything you would ever want to see with Type O. It's got a live show. It's got bonus behind the scenes. It's got interviews. It's got biographies. It's got everything you could want from Type O. The inside, not much to show here. I've always liked the green theme with Type O Negative. And inside, it's just words and credits and whatnot. Not much to show you there, but huge fan. Type O. If you like doom, if you like metal, if you like gothic type music, these guys were one of the greatest. Pete Steele passed away, unfortunately, but this is one that you should dive into. Big fan of Type O Negative. I'm sure you've heard every YouTube person talk about it, but inside there, Sympathy for the Devil. Check it out. Love Type O. And I never noticed the cover, but it's like their faces all blended together and twisted. Always kind of a cool visual. Last but not least, a band a lot of people love and a lot of people hate in the metal community. I kind of went into this band with an open mind, even though they were always considered a Christian band. But this is the Lesser Lights of Heaven by Zao. This is a great collection of DVDs. I think there's just two. It kind of folds out. And Zao, I think the first album I got from them was maybe Legendary. No, it was before that. It was Funeral of God, which is where this DVD ends. But they are what was considered kind of this cult following of a band. They did have some religious undertones to their lyrics. I hesitate to call them a quote-unquote Christian band, but they kind of, once you get that tag, it's hard to let go. But if you're not familiar with Zao, they're very kind of a hardcore type bands, how they started. A lot of I don't want to say death metal undertones. The vocals can be that way. The music style is more hardcore though. They're still going strong. I think they just put out a new album this year, 2021. But if you're not familiar with Zao, you like documentaries, you want to hear about the Christian pieces of the band. You know, there were guys in the band that were like, hey, I like cigarettes and drinking and drugs and whatnot. I don't like this Christian tag that you're slapping on the band. Check this out. The interviews with all the band members, their thoughts on the band, the breakups, the member changes, anything you can imagine that comes with being in a band. It's all here. I was trying to see how long this is. It usually says on the back, but it's well worth your money if you are a documentary fan. This goes all through the first 8 or 9 albums. So, and they've put out, I think, 4 since then. So if you have not heard of Zao, I'll link it below. Check them out. The Lesser Lights of Heaven. Great stuff. That's it for my DVD collection. Next up, we're going to dive into my Blu-rays. I don't have as many Blu-rays as I do DVDs. As I mentioned before, a lot of the stuff that I have on DVD, there's just not a huge market for it to justify pressing some of this on Blu-ray. So I doubt any of this will ever be on Blu-ray, but time will tell. So next up, we're going to talk Blu-rays. So hope you all having a good one out there, and I'll catch you all very soon. Later.